This is Sandy Wu and Christine Chen. Welcome to our final project presentation, Advanced Chat System with Graphic User Interface and plus Secure Messaging. Here is our agenda today. We'll first do a really brief introduction and show the video demo of our group project, then discuss about the graphic user interface and the secure messaging, and then we'll come to the analysis and the impression part. Here's the introduction. In the GUI part, we believe the main purpose of implementing GUI is to make the program more user-friendly. Therefore, we plan two windows with intergenous functions to provide a better using experience. The first welcome window contains a login option that requires username and password, and a sign-in option that requires username and double-check password. The second one, the main window, is a private space we created to prevent the users from directly going to the chat room when they successfully log in. It contains 4 buttons with intergenous functions. What's more, users' chat messages can be secured by encryption and decryption process, and we'll talk about that later in the secure messaging part.
And the second part is our live demo show.
This is the first welcome window when we open the file from the terminal. First, we need to sign up, so we click sign up. So I'm gonna call my first user name Summer. So I type in Summer and set a password twice. And if I accidentally didn't get the password matches, then it'll raise an error window just like this. Okay, so I'm gonna try again. And we click sign up. Okay, succeed. So we go back to the main window and type in our username Summer and the password again and click login. And now we come to the main window. And in this window, we have 4 buttons, one weather emoji and a welcome sign, welcome username Summer. So if we click the first button, weather condition, we can change the default emoji rainbow to the sunny one, the cloudy one, the rainy one, the mist one, or the snow one. So I'm gonna use the snow one here. And if we can click confirm, then this window will automatically close and we'll go back to the main window. And if we click on the second button, current time check, a new window will pop up here. And it shows that the current time is 3:51 afternoon. And if I click return, then I'll close this window and go back. And if we click the third bottom chat room, we'll open our chat window, which is the same as the original GUI. Following the same structure we have in the unit project, all the methods, functions in the original one, we also have them here. For example, following the instruction that displayed on the screen here, we can type P followed by a number, then search the sonnet written by William Shakespeare. For example, if I type in P1 and click send, then I'll get the first sonnet displayed on my screen. And now I'll type in who to check if there's anyone else in the chat room. And since obviously I am the only one here, my status is 0 and the group is none. Okay, so now now I'll open a new one and also sign up. So I'm also okay, so I first signed up. Oops, I forgot I already used Summer for the first time. So I'm gonna call this user James and type in the and sign up. Okay. and do it again in the welcome window. And yes, I log in too. So now we directly go to the chat room, and we also have hello and all the instructions. Now I am James and I like to connect to Summer, so I type in C Summer and click send. And now you can see from the two screens that James and Summer are connected. And if I type in hi James from the Summer screen and click send, then you can see the message hi James on both two sides. This looks very simple, but the message actually have gone through the process of encrypted and decrypted, and then finally got it show on the James screen. For the details, we'll talk about how we make this secure messaging works in our later slides. Now, we're going to try the last button by clicking on cancel and leave. We see this goodbye window, and if we click OK, then together with the main window, everything is closed. We modified the original login window a lot, and now it's called the welcome window in our project. On the upper half, we used tk-enter and inserted a frontline picture, Hello World, in respect of our unstoppable exploration in the computer science discipline. Below, we have two labels, which show the text, username and password, and on the right, we have two entry boxes where users can type in the text for the username and password accordingly. On the very bottom, we add two buttons called login and sign in. So compared to the original one, which just is a button called continue, we have two buttons in our project, and each of them can direct the user to a new window. If you click on the right button, login, then you will be directed to a new login window, and I'm gonna show you in a second. So there are the colors we use. We believe the combination looks very clear and comfortable, and this can make the login process more smoothly. So here are the settings of the welcome window. On the left-hand side, we have the title Welcome to the Hello World House, the frontline picture, and the two labels. On the right-hand side, we create two entry boxes and two bottles. Coming back to the window, if we click Sign In, a new window will open. This window is called Sign Up. It has three labels: username, password, confirm password, and three entry boxes to accordingly. At the very bottom, there's a Sign Up button to check if this process is succeed. When we fill all the blanks and click on Sign Up, we'll call this method in Python. If the two passwords do not match, then the first arrow at the top will pop up. If the username already exists, then it will raise the second arrow. If everything works well, then a welcome window will pop up to indicate that you succeed. So you can go back to the welcome window and do the login process. After login, we come to this main window, a private space that prevents the user from directly going into the chat room. We made this user interface very simple and clear. It has 4 buttons, 2 labels, the welcome text and the username, and one weather emoji at the upper center. We believe the label is easier to use compared to reading lines and of instructions in the chat room that overwhelms the user. We call the method layout to do this main window settings in the main room. Here is how the window condition look like from the user side. if you click on the first button. You can open a window that contains 6 types of weathers: sunny, cloudy, rainy, mist, rainbow, and snowy. When the user clicks one of them, for example, I click on the snowy one, the emoji on the main window will change accordingly. And when clicking on confirm, this weather window will automatically close. However, the user can still change the emoji whenever they want by clicking the first button again. Here we call the method weather condition when we open the window. We also have a close weather method to automatically destroy the window when the user clicks confirm. On the right-hand side, we implement radio button to direct, and we set the variable v to get the input from user. And from 1 to 6, each number represents a weather emoji on the screen. Here is bottom 2, current time check. Someone might be wondering why we add a time check in addition, since this operation can be done in the chat room by sending text time to the system already. However, we believe adding a button outside the chat room is much clearer and easier to use. It also saves time when the user simply wants to check the time instead of chatting with others. Here are the 2 methods we called: 1 to open a window to display time, 1 to destroy the window when clicking return. Here is bottom 3, chat room. We basically plug in everything from the original GUI file under the layout method, so all the functions can be used, including check-in time, find the user in the chat room, connect to other users, search chat history, search sonant by number, or leave the chat room. We implement secure messaging in this process as well, and the details will be explained in the secure messaging part. Here is the last button, the button number 4, cancel and leave. The code is very short. We only implement one message box that shows, see you next time, username, have a nice day. When clicking on OK, this message box, as well as the main window, will be destroyed.
And here we move on to the discussion of secure messaging. As the picture demonstrated in the book, 9 Algorithms That Changed the World, secure messaging is similar to sending the postcard. We need to encrypt before sending the message to the server and decrypt after another user receiving the encrypted message. So in this way, the server won't know what the original message is. And the key idea of our code is to use RSA algorithm to generate the public and private key and then encrypt our message on the client side. Most of our code are modified in the client state machine. We import the crypto module, which helps encrypt or decrypt or hash any data with RSA algorithms, PKCS115 cipher, which helps perform the RSA encryption or decryption. We also import base 64 encoding schemes, which are commonly used when there is a need to encode binary data that needs to be stored and transformed over the media designed to deal with ASCII. The RSA algorithm provides, and also the main logic of our code is the following. First is the key pair generation. We generate a random private key and public key to save both keys into some file for future usage. Secondly, we need to execute encryption and decryption, which encrypts a message using the public key and decrypts it back using the secret key. Lastly is the key exchange. RSA algorithm securely transports a secret key used for encrypted communication. Diving to look at our code, we start with the key pair generation. In the init function, we add 3 more attributes: self.secret, self.public, and random generator, which helps generate RSA public and secret key. We add another function called generate public key and secret key to generate the keys and save both keys into 2 files for future usage. And here's the encryption process. We load the public key back from the file we create to store the public key, since we only need the public key for encryption. and then use pksc1.newKey to return a cipher object that can be used to perform encryption. Before we send out the ciphertext written by the client, the text needs to be converted into byte type for decoding. The decryption process is basically the reverse process. We load the private key back from the file since we need private key for decryption according to the RSA algorithm, then use pksc1.newKey to return a cipher object that can be used to perform decryption, and then decode it to the original text. Then we also need to modify the following code. When client state equals to chatting, we call the function to generate public key and private key, then encrypt the message using the encryption function, send it to the server. When receiving the message from another client, we call the decryption function and to decrypt the message to the original text. Since we add some print functions in the code, when clients are sending message to each other, you can see the encrypted message and decrypted message in the client's terminals. Then we move on to the analysis part with our reflections and improvements. We think overall we finished all the required tasks for this project with understandable logic and codes. One thing we can definitely improve is the clarity of the code organization. To be more specific, we modified all the codes related to the welcome window, sign up page, and bottom layouts in the GUI file with more than 600 lines of code. However, these codes could have been written in a separate Python file and been imported into GUI file to obtain a more readable code and efficient debugging process. Another thing to consider is the RSA encryption and decryption methods might be breakable since the crypto module in Python is completely public. We haven't researched this issue, but this may weaken the security of our code. The last part is the impressions. Since we don't have much communication with other teams, we don't have a clear mind about the ranking of our workload compared to other students. From our own perspectives, if we rank the workload of our project out of 100, we'll give an 85. Because if we choose to do online gaming, then it might require more files, import, graphics, etc. But on the other hand, we try to enhance the GUI user experience as much as possible. For example, we have a nice and delicate layout of the GUI, allowing users to sign up with their names and passwords, changing the weather, chatting, as well as checking time and chat history by clicking buttons. Last thing to add is that both of us struggled a lot at the beginning, but eventually came up with the results. So both of us enjoyed a lot and learned a lot from the process. That's all of our presentation. Many thanks to the faculties for helping us with our codes, and thank you for listening.